Well, thank you, Mariana, for having me at this presentation. It's a pleasure to be here. And so the goal for this presentation is to quickly provide a high-level overview of what Dash is, what our goals are, what are we doing for growth, and what we're currently working on. You know, a little bit of its history. So I'll try. Sounds like a lot of topics, but I'll try and squeeze it in as fast as possible. So, so without further ado, I'll kick it off. So I work for Dash Core Group. It is the largest entity within the Dash network. Dash is a cryptocurrency. We've been around since about 2014. We are payments oriented. So we focus on solving problems, inefficiencies within the payment space all over the world, as well as, in certain economies as well. So I guess the goal is really to, what we say is financial freedom for everyone. Use your money however you want it. It's your money, anywhere, anytime. And our mission is to make payments quick and easy. So user experience is one of our main focuses. I've seen the industry move in that direction as well, as from thinking back to 2010 or 11, when it was you basically had to almost be a coder to use cryptocurrency. But now it's almost a Venmo-like experience, as far as like payments and sending money across borders instantly. So as a payments network, we do focus on solving those problems, and so our technology is oriented that way as well. So we've created, we've been the first cryptocurrency to do many innovations as a project. One of them is we have an additional layer on top of the miners called the masternode network. It's part of our governance structure. They perform certain services for the network. For example, they confirm instant send payments. Instant send is what allows Dash to be fast. And when I say fast, I mean you can send and receive Dash within 2 seconds. Settlements is nearly instant. As soon as you get the text message, you can then immediately send it to the next person. And then chain locks as well, which is our security feature, which basically, I guess without getting too technical, confirms the transaction before the miners do, before they mine the blocks. So it basically provides unparalleled security. As far as I know, we're the only 51% attack-proof cryptocurrency. There may be others, but I haven't heard of them yet. And so we basically focus on 4 different groups, which are individuals, businesses, and this part's interesting, developers. And so we are coming out with a new innovation, which I'll touch on very soon, called Dash Platform, which will allow you to build on the Dash blockchain. And then network operators, you have masternode owners, you have various stakeholders within the ecosystem that also play a part with, in terms of benefiting as well as supporting the network. So, I think I've touched on the rest of these pretty high level, but mainly our cost of transaction. I'm going to address the charge too much on the second point here, but most cryptocurrencies can have like high gas fees, like for example in the ERC20 networks. You have Bitcoin, which I guess traditionally had high transaction fees, and you had to wait for like 15 minutes to 3 hours, depending on how far back you go. And so with Dash, it's instant, like I mentioned earlier, but also the cost of transacting is about 1/20th of a US cent. It varies slightly, but it's basically perfect for microtransactions as well. So I'll move on to the next slide. This is a bit about Dash Core Group. I think I'll just touch on very briefly about this entity because it plays into our governance structure. Our governance is also one of the innovative parts of Dash Network. We were the first cryptocurrency to implement the DAO network, so decentralized autonomous organization, which allows us to be decentralized but efficient. So, for example, we have something called a treasury system where people can put in business proposals. They can put in even strategic decisions for the network. And the way the works is on this centralized site. There is like 1 or 2 websites you can do this on. You put in your proposals on. The masternode owners, they vote on these proposals. There's about 5,000 of them. They make these votes, and should it pass, the individual who put the proposal in gets their grant, or if it's a strategic decision, then everyone's obliged to kind of partake in that decision. So a good example would be when Bitcoin was debating moving from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte block sizes. It took them, I think, about a year or two to come to a consensus. With Dash, I think it took us about 36 hours. So it was very, very quick. We quickly were able to upgrade the system. So Dash Core Group is one of those entities that puts in proposals. It's the largest one. We do maintain the network, and that's the organization I work for. But there are many other organizations that come out of this network, and they maintain their, I guess, the ecosystem within their countries, evangelize it, grow the network there, and they have specific strategies that usually we're aligned with and work together on. So this is a bit more on our governance, but this just briefly, we're very different than Bitcoin in one respect, and that is about how the superblock is split. I think it's an interesting point to mention. But basically, with Bitcoin, you have a superblock go 100% to the miners, the rewards. With Dash, it's a bit split up. So we have, well, initially 45% to miners, 45% to that masternode layer I mentioned earlier, and 10% to that treasury network, which provides the grants, and which also funds Dash Core Group. We've recently come to another consensus as a network to change that slightly. So over the course of 5 years, we'll be moving to 40% miners, 60% masternode owners, and then the Dash treasury, whatever proposal passes, is taken from these two parties proportionally up to a 20% cap. So they'll have to have their buy-in, of course, to do that. So this has already begun, and it should end in 5 years from now. Now the fun stuff. So how is Dash Core Group growing Dash? We are focusing, of course, on the brand, and I think what Brad mentioned as far as cultivating that community, resonated with us. We work very hard in cultivating and growing our community across several regions, key markets, and so on. We make sure we provide support wherever we can to those communities to ensure that Dash is easy to acquire, store, and spend. I think that's what you can boil it down to. But we also engage with them in a number of different ways. We work with our partners in promotions. We try to, like I said, with the DAO network, they get a say in the strategic decision of the network, as well as proposals. So we try to engage them on multiple levels. And with Dash platform coming out, developers and community members will be able to build dApps on the platform, on the Dash blockchain. And then finally, we build partnerships. This is very much towards the business development, marketing area. And what we focus on with Dash as a form of payments that is very efficient, we have to find, there are a number of different ways you can take this. Like the dollar, you can use it for just about anything to do with payments. So where do we focus? We're not a massive organization as far as Dash Core Group. So we have resources and we have to spend them wisely. And so we look for where the greatest need meets the greatest fit. So where a solution can solve the problem most effectively, where it's needed most. And that is currently where we take a data analytics approach where we have a hypothesis, we test it, we see if it works, we measure the data and see if it's validated or not, and then we tweak our strategy or move on to another industry depending, or grow that industry respectively. So like with hyperinflation, we tested it in Venezuela some years back. It was very successful. We've managed to grow the ecosystem quite significantly. I'd say this is probably our most best performing area as far as the strategy. And in Venezuela, as you know, it has hyperinflation issues. So your money is not worth much by the end of the day. And so Dash and cryptocurrency in general, despite how volatile it is less volatile than the local currency. So as a store of value, it makes sense. And as a form of payment, it makes sense. And so you have right now a growing ecosystem of merchants, the Walmart equivalents, the CVS equivalents in Venezuela who are now adopting and taking Dash for payments. And then also we're at a point where we're trying to figure out how people can get paid in Dash so that they don't have to convert it, they can just go straight to using it. And so that's basically the next part that we're focusing on. Remittances, obvious use case with cross-border payments. and crypto trading. That is another area that we're focusing on. So with crypto trading, that's interesting too, because we found a way to work with our partners in the trading ecosystem. And I mean, basically anything a trader would need to perform their trading strategy effectively and efficiently. The speed has obvious implications like rebalancing your portfolio, arbitrage, and so on. And so in these areas, exchanges who have large exchanges who are trusted and we work with them to integrate the speed aspect to it, a function that provides the zero confirmation transactions. And so you can get immediate deposits, withdrawals, and so on. And then from there, built out, custody instant. And then we added analytics tools to help, traders be able to analyze Dash, and then automated trading bots and so on. So everything they would need to be able to perform very quick transactions, very quick trades, and even across exchanges. So this is called the FastPass network. It's been growing quite a bit since then. There's also an educational component. But we don't ignore other areas. So gaming happened organically. We found that there was a industry within gaming, esports, which has been adopting cryptocurrency and particularly Dash because of that the obvious features like micro payments and the speed of payments, and because most of them are global, it made a lot of sense for them. So in those areas, we discovered it. We've been nurturing it and incorporated it as part of our strategy. So this is an example of how we kind of pivot. In the other two buckets, I'll just touch on them quickly. This is around product, orientating it towards user experience and security, and on technology where we build out, like the Dash platform and the ability to scale payments. So this is an example of some of our ecosystem. So basically, this is to highlight that we are a payments-oriented cryptocurrency. So the first one, CrayPay, it's a application with about 155,000 large major chains in the US where you're able to use Dash as a form of payment now. Ready Raider is an esports gaming platform where you can manage your entire esports career on. And then Burger King, Church Chicken, these are Venezuela. And then we also recently added Pizza Hut. So we're growing. The companies that we're working with are growing in size. And pretty soon we're hopeful that it won't be too long where you can use Dash just about anywhere. And then major exchanges, we're on about like 200 plus exchanges, I think, last I counted. So we're easily acquirable. And this is just kind of like a visual on the Dash FastPass network. So basically, the DeFi is interesting, and I just want to touch on that very briefly. We recently were able to, we're a fork of Bitcoin, as you mentioned at the beginning. But since then, we've also taken note of DeFi like everybody else and have been trying to offer a path for our users to be able to participate in DeFi. And so to do that, we've partnered with a few different organizations that have wrapped Dash in various different, ERC20 coins. I think REM was one of them, and another partner is Stakehound, and then I think OIN. So there are a few out there, but these are going to be pathways so that Dash users can participate in that massive ecosystem that's been, growing and exciting people. And then this is Dash platform, and so I'll end it close to here. So basically, this is coming out very soon. Right now, it's on AlphaNet. There's an alpha version out, so you can now start building your applications on the platform. You can even open up a profile, and this is pretty cool. You can, instead of using public keys and things like that, you can now go onto the Dash platform. You can set up your profile. I'd be Omar, you'd be Mariana, and I can then, through another application that we're building here called the Dash Pay app. This is our new version of the wallet. You'll be able to have a Venmo-like experience right here. As you can see on the left phone, I guess. You can then just send it to usernames. But what's also cool is that you can take this profile across any decentralized application built on our platform. So you would have the same profile there, or if you wanted to create a new one, that also works too. But it gives you the flexibility to kind of just, not have to sign in. It works kind of like Google, where you sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook on a lot of those, a lot of websites.